Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. My name is Sherna,
My name is Mikhail.
and together we are Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. Now, this episode is something that we were kind of needing to talk about. It's something that isn't necessarily the sexiest topic, but it's one that isn't talked about enough, and it's our journey, and we want to bring you guys along. But before we get into that, we want to remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. You can check us out on Instagram and on YouTube for all the live updates of all of the workouts that we do, because we work out 3 to 4 times a week. Now, we're getting back into the matter. Losing weight is tough. Staying overweight is tough. But we have to pick which tough you want to be.
Yeah.
And that's the gist of the conversation that we're going to have right now. But what we want to do is update you guys on where we are at on our journey and the diet that we basically follow. Now, throughout Mikhail and I's journey, we've been doing this for 9 weeks today, and we're going on our fabulous episode 10 very soon. And we have a bit of a surprise for you guys with that one, since it is our first video episode. But you guys will hear about that next week. But for today, we really want to get into calorie deficit and our honest results with it. So I have been on a calorie deficit diet for the last 2 months, I would say, since February.
Yeah.
And I haven't been doing it the right way. So sometimes I may have a cheat meal, so to speak, or sometimes I'll eat too much of a meal. So I'll be meal prepping, and while I'm meal prepping, I'm having way too much food to eat. And I feel like that is something that affected my goals and where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I remember we were in Tobago. Well, I was in Tobago. You were in Trinidad. And we did the overseas exercises together. And I had gained just about 2 or 3 pounds from being in Tobago.
Because of the environment.
Yeah. And it's Tobago. Come on. It's my home country, home island. So I had lost 10 pounds in total. And then I went to Tobago and I gained back 3 pounds. And I was so upset and I was so sad. And then I adjusted my diet, so to speak, when I came back to Trinidad, implementing more salads. And this is my breakfast that I have every single day without fail. I have salad made from romaine lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes, along with a healthy amount of ginger tea.
Yeah.
And this is the diet that I adjusted from when I came back from Tobago. And the reason why I did this is because I personally felt like I wasn't calorie deficiting right. Because a calorie deficit is you essentially eat less and you exercise more.
Yeah.
That is what a calorie deficit is. So I'm not going to indulge in my regular chocolate cake slice, my Royal Castle, my KFC, Pizza Hut.
It's you burn more calories.
Yes.
Than you actually burn.
Yes, exactly. So on my road to do that, I felt disappointed in myself because I wasn't where I needed to be. And this topic, I think, isn't spoken about enough. I think it's very easy to look at our workout videos and go, yeah, they're having fun, etc. But sometimes when you don't get the results that you have been looking for, it discourages you and it makes you feel very disappointed. So I'm going to paint a picture for you guys. When Mikhail and I meet a new month, so February month end, March month end, we weigh ourselves. And we've weighed ourselves and I've only ever showed it once on our TikTok video. Every other time I jump on the scale and I'm very upset because I'm not the way that I want to be. And I feel like it's not something that should be celebrated. It's not something that we should look at. And I have lost less than what I intended to lose by now because we have this goal. And I do feel like at times I look at this goal so much that like I totally forget the point of working out, the point of being here on this journey.
Because feels unattainable at times, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like my expectation isn't matching my reality and it doesn't make sense to do this. That is how it feels. But does that necessarily mean that I'm going to stop? Absolutely not. There are some people who haven't lost the weight before and they are trying their best and they may not see the results and it's discouraging them. And this episode essentially is for that person listening right now. I need to tell you that it doesn't matter if the scale isn't budging. It doesn't matter if it is that you feel like you woke up and you are just as quote fat as you were the day before.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that there are invisible wins, visible wins, invisible losses, and visible losses. I'm going to get into that in this episode. So essentially, an invisible win is progress that isn't necessarily reflected on the scale, or it's something that isn't showing. Like when I look at you, Mikhail, I'm not seeing 40 pounds lighter. So that is an invisible win, right? But it comes in a form of like better sleep, better energy, clearer skin, you're happier, you're less bloated, you have more strength, more endurance, and all of these things. These are your invisible wins. So sometimes when you are so focused on looking at the visible wins, you get so confused and I guess clouded in that web or that cloud of where's my win? How come I ain't get this as yet? And then you're on TikTok and you know how the algorithm works. Essentially, if you start to Google one thing, your whole feed is that. All of a sudden you're seeing, I lost 20 pounds in 20 minutes and it's discouraging you. Look at the difference in 5 days and these things. Because I've seen that on my page before, especially in those moments when I felt like I'm not seeing my wins. And then we're going to go on to what invisible losses are. So an invisible loss essentially is a setback. It's something that doesn't show up, but it actually affects your journey. And we're actually going to get into this. So an example of an invisible loss would be hoarsely skipping meals, low motivation. It's quiet, slow progress without it being obvious. And not in a good way. So beyond us not meeting our goal because of our calorie deficit diet, there is something else that happened. If you all followed along on our journey, I think there were about 2 weeks where we only exercised twice. And sometimes I feel like that is attributed to our lack of sleep, because when you have a lack of sleep, a lack of rest, you have a lack of motivation. And sometimes you get so busy during the day and we fell into that pattern of, we don't have time to exercise today for like 2 weeks. Yes, we got something in, but we didn't meet our quota. And I think that it's so important to understand the elements that make up weight loss and not necessarily, I need to change my diet quick, I need to drink more water quick. Because if your mind isn't the way it needs to be, I can assure you there'll be no clearer skin, no clearer teeth, no better sleep, no endurance, no nothing.
I want to add to this though that, you see, with sleep,
Yeah.
a lot of people, even including myself, yes, we have a lot of work to do. We are busy and things, but prioritizing your work and what you do too, that should be there too. Because if it is you have a certain goal and you're not sleeping well, how is it that your body is going to repair itself? Because the reason why you sleep is so that, yes, your body could take rest, you may have break, yes, but also your body repairs itself during that time. When it is also sleep, if it is you want to put on a muscle, you will tear that in your muscle, the protein, it's out to repair those bits there. It won't repair itself properly with just 2 hours of sleep because, because even like last week, sometime then I didn't sleep well. Because it felt like if I went to sleep like around 10 o'clock, but I was going to sleep, getting up, and doing work. And I didn't prioritize what it is I was doing properly. You also have to prepare for the unexpected.
True.
You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen to that fire that it is you're dealing with. You don't know. Exactly. You don't know some situation might happen or form like around you. You should have like enough energy. Emergency. You should be able to get up and attend to those things.
And I think that it shows up when you are tired. Like when you are tired, you're not going to exercise as hard. And then sometimes I feel like it is definitely a double-edged sword, because if it is that your body's not getting you rest, because there have been moments where we are both too tired and we literally could not go on workouts. And then convince ourselves, man, we'll do it on Friday. Friday comes and we're like, man, we'll try again on Monday.
Tomorrow. You have the time now. That's why I prioritize what it is to do. It is important.
And I do think that you have to, because you have the time now, you need to go and sleep now.
Exactly.
I'm not saying to go and pause the episode and go and sleep, but what I am saying is that you have to have a healthy cut-off time for yourself when it is you're doing weight loss. So I have decided, and this is just totally me, that the reason why we haven't budged the scale as much is because of our poor sleep. My friend told me this a long time ago, last 2 years when I lost my weight. He told me, if you really want to see results, you need to go to bed early. You need to sleep around 8 o'clock. There's a reason why people say don't eat after 6. There's a reason why people say to go to bed early.
Here's the thing, and I realize this from experience.
Like
eating late in the night, what I used to do before, I told myself, eating like 2 meals a day, but that second meal eating,
late in the night,
I didn't been digested properly. I realized that, and I based off of the experience, like I don't need to redraw an article for that. The body stores that fat, I could see that. I feel it as well too, because any morning I am feeling good enough, and I feel as energized and revived. But I'd also say too, not before. The way how we used to exercise.
Yeah.
We used to exercise, well, sometimes vigorous. This is when before we got together.
Yes.
We used to exercise a bit vigorous and our
Yes.
routines were very strict.
Yes.
We used to be very harsh on ourselves. That's how it is we lost the weight very, 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 very quickly. Like now we do that slow because of certain things that are happening because we sleep, but there's also a balance that we need to find.
Yes.
That's what I think.
My mom actually told me, because I told her, I said, I'm not losing weight fast enough. My birthday's coming up in August. I'm still fat. I told her this and she laughed. And she said, girl, it's better to lose weight slowly than to lose it quick and then gain it back faster.
Nice.
And then I also looked at this video on TikTok and there was this person talking about she had lost a lot of weight and she looked really good. But she had mentioned that she was exercising twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, and she was doing a calorie deficit. Now that diet, I am 100% sure works, but that diet isn't suited for my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Neither yours. So I do think that while it is we're not seeing the results that we want, I think it's about doing the little things and see if that works.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure exercising twice a day, eating 100 calories a day will help me to lose weight. 100% certain of that. At what cost? And I also want to say that when you are in a relationship, that is a certified way to become a big back. Because we go on dates and, we go out all the time. And because we do these things, it is a little bit more difficult to, I guess, lose weight.
You get the happy fat.
Yeah, you get that kind of happy fat. And because you get that happy fat, it shows up. And I don't think that you need to get your heart broken to lose weight. But I do think that when you are in a relationship, you have to be so conscious of what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I want to say that we didn't realize at first that us not having a good sleeping schedule, a good sleeping pattern, because sometimes we might fall asleep on the phone, talking late into the night and stuff like that. Or let's say working on a project together, getting so into it that we forget that, we have to go and sleep. And it was basically dragging us down without showing up obviously. Like if you obviously don't eat, it will have obvious effects on your body, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't really showing up in the way that we thought it would until we jumped on the scale and realized, maybe we need to fix what's going on the inside first.
Yeah.
Because I do think that if you don't fix what's happening on the inside, you will be in a constant reoccurring cycle of the exact same pattern.
Yeah.
And patterns are hard to break. To break a pattern, you have to do something different. To do something different, you cannot do the exact same thing that you have done in the past.
I know they say that true madness is doing the exact same thing over and over and
Yes.
over and over again and expecting a different result. You can't look to fix something and think that if it is you doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over again, that is going to work. So they can't keep doing the exact same workout every day and keep going to sleep at the same time and expecting a difference. There needs to be change.
And I also want to add that if you've changed your diet, because one of the reasons why I changed my diet, because for the month of May, I decided to adjust my diets completely to just be salad. So I'm having salad in the morning, my regular lunch, non-flour items. And I'm doing that to see if it is that is going to change something. But if it is, I do this and nothing happens and I'm still sleeping bad, I'm going to have to attribute it to my lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that sleep is an underestimated thing that will help you lose weight. In one of our previous conversations in the episode that actually is coming up next week, our guest actually discussed with us that exercise is important, but something I want to add as well is sleep is important. Just as how you're not necessarily going to say, I don't want to eat today, I'm not feeling to drink water today. You would never say those things. So similarly, you should never tell yourself that I don't want to sleep today.
Yeah.
Because sleep is a fundamental core thing that needs to be a major part of your life.
Yeah.
Because it's food, exercise, sleep. Good.
Yeah.
That is what I think it is. So if it is that one of these elements are tipped and it makes the scale off balance, you're going to see effects in your hormones and in different areas of your life.
Trust me, I'm not gonna lie, those effects. Just the other day, I went to sleep late and wake up in the morning. I wake up late. I see like 8 o'clock. I'm like, it could be 8 o'clock somewhere.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, man, this is that. And because during the night, I wasn't sleeping well. And I think the night before too, I didn't sleep well as well. And my body it was calling for the rest.
Yes.
And I was surprised by that because I was telling myself I will wake up at this time and thing like that, and I didn't. I heard my alarm in my sleep actually, in like a dream.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my alarm just keep going off and off, and I just hear it in my dreams, and I was like, okay, nah. Until I wake up, And I was like, oh, shucks, what time it is, boy? And I see the time, I was like, nah, boy.
I do think when it is your body requires rest, it takes it for you. I'm going to give an example as well. I had gone to bed late this week. And what happened is I didn't set an alarm because I usually naturally wake up at 6 a.m. every single morning without an alarm. And on this day specifically, do you know what happened?
I wake up at 7:30.
I woke up late, close to 8 o'clock. It wasn't 7:30. I woke up at 7:50.
7:15.
That's 10 minutes before 8. And I'm telling you all that if it is that you don't give your body the rest that it needs, I might have woken up later, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you really have to be mindful with what it is that you're doing. So as we kind of like come to the end of the episode, I really want to talk about the mental hurdles and the accountability stuff. I want to talk about the frustration that comes with not seeing results. And I want to encourage listeners to just know that results is not everything, as visible results isn't everything. Because you really have to count those invisible wins that may not show up. And I want to add that me personally, there may be days where I don't want to work out. But when I do work out, I feel so much more improved in terms of like, I feel happier. Like I feel like I'm getting mobility back into my body. Because sometimes I feel like I'm a granny. And I do think that like when it is I do get into working out, it has improved myself in general. Like my body calls to work out. So the days where I miss working out, I go, gosh boy. So I do feel bad when I don't work out. And I get that if it is that you are not seeing the results that you need, the invitation is never to give up. The invitation is always to sit down and pinpoint, where is this coming from? Because I do think every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes.
Even though I didn't do science in school as a CXC subject, I do know that. I know for a fact that know for a fact that you have to change something because every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If I'm gaining weight, it's probably because of something that I'm doing. What am I doing? Am I eating KFC every day? Am I eating Royal Castle every day? Am I not sleeping? Am I stressed? Because stress either helps you put on weight or take off weight. So you really have to be able to go, okay, where is this coming from? And don't get frustrated with the results, so to speak. I think something that I want to say as well is that partner accountability is something that is so dear to my soul. And I so appreciate working out with you because I feel like I have somebody who is there by my side step by step. Even on the days where I do solo workouts, you are always going to review what I'm doing before I do it. Make sure that I have make sure that I have the correct form, make sure that like I'm doing everything correctly. That sometimes I call you and I go, what's the name of that workout we did again? Like, what's that thing that is supposed to target this portion of my body? And you help me out. You're very accountable. And I really want to say that sticking to a calorie deficit is hard. But with you being my partner, it's a little bit easier in the sense that if I say I want to reach for a chocolate cake, you may go, remember the diet, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that mental hurdles is a thing. Frustration comes with not getting the results that you want, but you are supposed to persevere.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
What does keep you going despite slow results though?
I think what keeps me going is the fact that I actually enjoy working out with you. Like I think that yes, the results might be slow, but because one of my core love languages is quality time, I feel like every single time I work out with you, it's quality that we are building to an extent.
Yeah.
In terms of understanding us a little bit better.
Yeah.
For those of you all who don't know, being in a relationship is something that I think is very beautiful. Yeah. But you don't know everything about the person. Yeah. And I have found that working out with you helps me to understand you a little bit better.
Yeah. You grow the person.
Working out with you has actually made me fall deeper in love with you. And it's because of your patience, your willingness to explain things to me and work out with me, even if I'm complaining or I'm crying or I'm sad. Remember when we were doing, I think it was the crunch and squat, and I was literally crying because I couldn't get it. And it wasn't met with, Sherna, you're so stupid. You're so silly. You can't do anything right. It was more, baby, it's okay. Let me count it out loud for you. So I enjoy working out with you. What keeps me going is you. And I know that you're not supposed to center your journey in another person. Even I do think that I'm not doing that, because when you don't want to work out, or if you don't have the time to work out, I will work out by myself. But I would say that something that genuinely keeps me going on this journey is the time that I get to spend with you, beating you on the court, which doesn't happen all the time, or by doing jump ropes with you. I just create so many core memories with you that it's so hard for me to stop. Even though I'm getting slow results, I know that I'm going to get the results that I desire if I continue. So beyond working out with you and me being like in love with you, I do think that if I stop, I will not get the results ever. Because I think that you miss 100% of the chances that you don't take. And if it is that this isn't working and I try this for 2 to 3 years, I think it will pay off eventually. So that is what keeps me going.
You're making me feel so appreciated, Maurice. Like, I want to move it. I want to move it, yes. Honestly, the things that keep me going despite my slow pace is in my mind. I believe everything is in the mind.
Yeah.
The fear is in the mind. I believe love is in the mind. I believe everything is in the mind there. And you do have a way that keeps me going. And it makes me want to learn more about you, because a lot of the exercises that we do together, and even like things like off camera too, and journey exercises, like I learn a lot more about you during those times. And that one episode now, I let you cross it for me. And
yes, when you were running up on the hill, running
and I stuff it, I cross it for me. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah, really. And then I stick my foot right there with you. Because I was like, I can't cross this line with you. Because I'm not saying, hey, look, if it is that you want to remain unhealthy, I got to remain unhealthy with you. No. I was trying to say that, hey, look, I want to continue this journey with you.
Yeah.
Because the more as you continue in a relationship, life no longer just becomes about focusing on you. The other person isn't like the center of your universe, but the person becomes a pivotal part in your life that just pushes you. And it's a helpmate. I believe your partner is a helpmate. And regardless of like my slow progress, I find myself not being hard on myself. Like if it is I wasn't with you, I would have been harder with myself. I would have.
Me too.
I would have make sure that I was like way less.
I would have starved myself.
I would have still be going to the late and thing, and I'd still be doing that madness. But it'll never be good for me. And I'd lose the weight, yes, but like
at what cost?
Exactly, at what cost?
I want to say that being in a relationship with you and being the partner that you work out with is something that it fills my heart. It kind of fills my cup in the sense that like it's like a wholesome experience, unscripted. But I think for me, you always have to find that person that you need to work out with.
Yeah.
You are not the center of my universe, but you are a pivotal part of what makes me orbit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I think that in working out, I don't want to make you the center of my goal and my journey. At the end of the day, my body is the only body that I will ever exist in.
Yeah.
And this is the body that God gave me to pass through this life. What I am happy about is that He gifted me a partner for me to be able to grow and glow with them. Because I think in order to grow, you have to go through this slow progress, these slow pains.
Yeah.
Growth is something that's painful. Growth is something that takes time. I know that everybody is always obsessed with losing weight quick. And I acknowledge that we are not losing weight as quickly as we should, or as quickly as I want to in time for my birthday. But I also acknowledge that I'm able to do so much more things because of my journey. And before, I remember I couldn't do more than 50 squats. We squatted to 90 before. I couldn't do more than 40 dips. I've done 90 dips before.
Yeah.
I couldn't do a certain amount of jump ropes. I think my cap was about like 400. I have done 1,000 jump ropes before. I couldn't do like crab walks consistently. I've done 4 sets of crab walks. I could have only done 1 set of lunges.
Yeah.
And now I can do 4 sets. 2 sets, which is 4, 1 forward and back. So I want to say, as we wrap up this episode, that progress isn't always visible, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Yeah.
So small, boring habits, whether it's the meals that you're eating, the exercises that you're doing, whatever those small, boring things that you may deem as unimportant, I want to encourage you all to understand that these small things lead to big changes.
Yeah. And I want to say too that another way that you could look at it, even though there are certain goals that you want, you have also accomplished other things as well too. And all you just have to do, all we have to do is just change a few things.
Yeah.
Let's just change a couple of things.
Sprinkle.
Yeah, there's just a couple of things. And we'll be able to make it, we'll be able to achieve what it is we thought wasn't achievable before.
Yeah. I think everything is attainable once you have the right mindset.
Correct. Everything is in your mind.
Yeah.
Whoa, you take that from me, boy.
Yes, boy. So, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. This is truly our baby project. It started off as a general joke between Mikhail and I, and it has now birthed into this beautiful project that we call the Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit podcast. Don't forget to check out the show notes for all the links to our social media handles, as well as you'll find a Google form if it is you want to submit a topic idea that you'd like for us to talk about on our podcast. But for now, we'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.
Peace out.